In the boundless void where fate twists like a silent blade, the legend of defiance continues to unfold. This is Recap, Renegade Immortal Chapter 685, 686. The echoes of past battles have yet to fade, and Wang Lin stands once more at the edge of the unknown, his path carved by blood, resolve, and an unyielding will that defies the heavens themselves. Enemies lurk within shadows both seen and unseen, while the fragile balance between life and annihilation trembles with every step he takes. As ancient forces stir and hidden truths begin to surface, the cost of power grows ever heavier. Will Wang Lin seize control of his destiny, or will the tides of karma drag him into an abyss from which even immortals cannot return? Tonight we step deeper into the storm, where one decision may alter the course of eternity. Before the blade descended, before the heavens trembled, before fate revealed its cruel design, there was a sword named Wealth. It was the very first blade Wang Lin had ever claimed within the halls of the Xianxia sect, and though it had once seemed like nothing more than a simple weapon in the hands of a young cultivator, in truth, the moment his fingers first wrapped around its hilt, his destiny had already been sealed. Years. No. Centuries of karmic entanglement surged like a raging tide. From the day he lost that sword, to the moment it returned to him, every thread of fate had quietly led him back to this very instant. Within that blade slept something far beyond ordinary comprehension. It was not a celestial technique, not a Tao spell, not even a mystical ability. It was a style. A sword style passed down from the ancient Rain celestial sword spirit itself, a legacy of pure, primordial sword intent, a style that carried the weight of ancient will, a style that could cut through the very laws of existence. High above the Huan family grounds, Wang Lin stood unmoving. Below him, the defensive formation trembled violently. The Thunder Beast roared like a storm incarnate, while the Celestial Guard struck without pause. Each impact sent ripples across the barrier, pushing it closer and closer to collapse. It would not last much longer. Wang Lin raised the Celestial Sword. And in that instant, the calm within his eyes vanished. In its place, a sharp brilliance ignited, like a blade drawn from darkness. His body, his will, his soul, all became one with the sword. The blade rose. Then it fell. There was no grand explosion, no burst of energy, no dazzling display. Just a single, simple motion. Yet in that moment, the world itself seemed to dim. The heavens lost their light. The earth lost its voice. Even the Thunder Beast, even the Celestial Guard, all presence faded into nothingness. Because in the entire world, there remained only one thing: the fall of that sword. It was as though the blade sought to split open creation itself, as though it intended to tear apart the primordial chaos that birthed the universe. There was no sword aura, no celestial force, no visible power. And yet, anyone who witnessed it felt their very soul tremble. The first to break from the shock was the Huan family's ancestor. His eyes snapped open wide, disbelief flooding his expression. This is the power of law. His voice trembled, because deep within his mind, he could hear it. The sound of reality itself being torn apart, the dimmed sky, the silent earth. It truly felt as though the world had been split open. Beside him, Wan Fengshen drew in a sharp breath. The moment the sword descended, an overwhelming killing intent erupted outward. It surged like a tidal wave. It pierced through his vision. It branded itself into his very consciousness. His body froze. This. His thoughts shook violently. It felt as if an invisible blade had pierced straight through his forehead, bursting out from the crown of his skull. Instinctively, he staggered backward. Despite his late-stage ascendant cultivation, he could not perceive the law contained within that strike. But he could feel it. That sword, it carried the might of heavenly law, and beyond that, it held the terrifying power to tear the heavens themselves apart. His heart began to pound, faster, louder, like war drums echoing within his chest. Bang, bang, bang. Each beat grew heavier, more suffocating. He felt as though, if that sword continued, even he would shatter along with the collapsing world. The Huan family's direct descendants, who had been watching from below, were equally shaken. That single motion, that single descent, made them feel as though they themselves had been cleaved apart. Cold sweat drenched their bodies. Their minds could not comprehend it. They were protected by the formation. And yet, fear. Pure, suffocating fear of death spread uncontrollably, all because one man had lowered his sword. Far away, within the depths of the Qian family's estate, Xianxia abruptly stood up inside his secluded chamber. His eyes shone with intensity. Law, that strike contains law. His voice carried awe and alarm. The path of the second step lies in grasping law itself. The first step is to understand the heavens, but the second is to wield that understanding as law. His thoughts raced. If this child is not connected to the Thunder Celestial Temple, then how could he wield such a strike? Elsewhere within the Shu family grounds, an elderly cultivator silently observed. He had once agreed to assist the Huan family. He had even taken a step forward to intervene. But now, he slowly lowered his foot. "This sword style," he murmured. "It is formidable." Though he did not fear it, he understood something crucial. If this young man dares to challenge the Huan family alone, then this cannot be his only move. Back above the battlefield, the sword completed its fall, and in that instant, all sound vanished, no explosion, no impact. Yet the Huan family's formation collapsed, without resistance, without contact. It simply ceased to exist. Wang Lin withdrew the blade, his face turned pale. The cost of that strike was immense, but his gaze only grew colder. The technique, Heaven Chop, demanded a terrible price. It did not rely on cultivation. It drew directly from the origin energy born from the fusion of body and soul. For ascendant cultivators, origin energy was finite. To lose too much was to regress in cultivation. Fortunately, Wang Lin possessed Zhouyi's ascendant crystal. Without it, that strike alone might have crippled him. Silence blanketed the Huan family. Then, Huan Wuqing spoke. His voice was cold, his eyes dark. "I underestimated you. To wield such a sword style at the ascendant stage, you are indeed formidable." "And?" He paused. "But the gap between the first and second step is a chasm beyond measure. If that strike had come from a second-step cultivator, it might have intrigued me. But now, it is meaningless." His killing intent surged. "You have destroyed my family's formation. Today, you will die. Ancestral Jade, come forth." The Huan family's ancestor roared. A powerful force erupted from the depths of their ancestral grounds. It spread like a celestial wind, gentle yet overwhelming. Then, a piece of golden jade rose into the sky. From it flowed a mysterious force of unity. The moment it appeared, it was as if a separate world had been carved out from the planet itself. The Huan family grounds became an independent realm. The ancestor sneered. He had avoided direct confrontation earlier. That sword, it frightened him. He had hoped to exhaust Wang Lin's strength through others. But now he had no choice. This jade contained a spell left behind by their celestial ancestor from the Thunder Celestial Realm. It was the foundation of their family's rise. High above, Qianxia narrowed his eyes. "The celestial jade. They say the Huan ancestor once reached Nirvana scryer level." He hesitated. "But why? Does he not use the treasure instead?" Within the Su family, the old man chuckled softly. "That treasure? It vanished long ago, along with another ancestor. And yet," he shook his head, "even what remains is enough to invite death." Back at the battlefield, as the jade glowed, it melted, it reshaped, and slowly it formed a human figure. Its features were indistinct, but its presence was overwhelming, majestic, unreachable. At that moment, Huan Fengshen stepped forward, his gaze firm. "Ancestor, I will not allow the Huan family to be dragged into this conflict." He turned toward Wang Lin and clasped his hands. "This is your grievance with Huan Wuqing. The rest of the family will withdraw." One by one, the direct descendants moved to stand behind him. The ancestor's expression darkened. A bunch of useless trash. His voice was filled with contempt. Then, he raised his hand. "Good fortune, Jade. Kill him." The jade figure stepped forward. Each step shook the world. An unimaginable surge of celestial spiritual energy erupted. It flooded the heavens. It crushed the natural energy of the entire Thousand Illusion planet. Explosions echoed across the land. Not just here, but everywhere. In an instant, the Celestial Guard appeared beside Wang Lin. The Thunder Beast roared and took position. Wang Lin stared ahead. The figure before him seemed to become clearer with each step. It resembled a celestial general, wrapped in divine radiance, above all living things, as though the world itself were beneath its feet. Faint celestial music echoed around it. The ancestor laughed coldly. "Let me see what you have left beyond that sword." Below, Lu Mei lifted her gaze. Her eyes were filled with tangled emotions. Her hand brushed against her storage bag. But in the end, she lowered it. Wang Lin remained calm, utterly calm. He had come here alone. He had stepped onto this planet. He had fought his way to this place, all for one reason, one final move. Within him, a thought surfaced, and with it, pain, deep, unyielding. It came from the resentful spirit sealed inside the heaven-defying bead. He slowly closed his eyes, and in a quiet voice he spoke. All things in this world are bound by karma. What was sown yesterday must be reaped today. Only when all debts are settled, when dust returns to dust, can the cycle be complete. Deep within his origin soul, a decisive will echoed. This battle ends here. I set you free. And in response, mad, unrestrained laughter erupted from the depths of his soul. A laugh, cold, savage, and utterly inhuman, suddenly tore through the heavens. In that instant, the sky itself seemed to darken. A suffocating, devilish aura spread outward like a storm unchained, swallowing the world in its wake. The air twisted. The heavens trembled. And from within that dense tide of darkness, black flames ignited across the sky, burning not with heat, but with an eerie, soul-piercing chill. Then it collided. The pure, radiant celestial energy descending from the approaching figure clashed violently against this devilish force. Light and darkness collided midair, shaking the very fabric of the world. And at the center of it all, something awakened. From the crown of Wang Lin's head, a thick stream of black smoke surged upward. It writhed like a living creature, coiling and condensing until, before the eyes of all, it took form. A single-horned devil. Its body seemed carved from shadows, its presence suffocating. And the moment it fully appeared, it laughed. A shrill, crazed laughter that pierced through space itself, as if it could drill into the souls of all who heard it. This was the scattered devil. The very being Wang Lin had once attempted to refine into his second origin soul. 100 years, an entire century of effort, and yet he had never fully subdued it. All he had achieved was a fragile control. Just enough to bind it, but never enough to truly tame it. The imprint he placed upon it had forced its divine sense into a deep slumber, weakening it significantly. Had it ever awakened completely before now, even Wang Lin would have struggled to restrain it, and now it stood awakened, fully awakened. The moment it revealed itself, the ancestor of the Huan family turned pale. His steps faltered as he instinctively retreated, his eyes locked onto that terrifying figure. For a long moment he said nothing, until finally, a bitter expression crept onto his face. So, this is his final trump card. Behind him, Huan Fengshen sucked in a sharp breath, his heart pounding wildly. Relief washed over him, relief that he had not acted rashly before. The disciples of the Huan family, all of them, felt the same. As for Xianxia of the Qian family, his heart nearly leapt out of his chest. The mere sight of the scattered devil sent a chill through his entire being. Even with his cultivation, even with his experience, he trembled. Terrifying, far too terrifying. What is this thing? A devil! His thoughts raced uncontrollably. Thunder beast, puppets, sword techniques, and now this devil. This man, he cannot be ordinary. He must hold immense status within the Thunder Celestial Temple. Otherwise, how could he command such power? Even the old man of the Shu family, who had remained composed all this time, finally stirred. For the first time, emotion flickered in his eyes. Excitement. Scattered devil. A scattered devil born of an ancient devil. Meanwhile, the devil itself let out another eerie laugh as it expanded, rising into the sky like a dark god, yet it did not even spare a glance at the celestial figure approaching. Instead, its gaze locked onto Wang Lin. Sharp, fierce, dangerous. "Little cultivator," it spoke, its voice heavy with ancient malice. "This devil shall honor your agreement and aid you in this battle." Its tone shifted, turning colder. "But if you fail to release me from your control afterward, then even if I must shatter my own soul, I will drag you down with me." Wang Lin remained calm, unmoved. His voice was steady, unwavering. "When this battle ends, you will be free." Silence lingered for a breath. Then, "Good!" The scattered devil burst into laughter. In the next moment, its massive form dissolved into black mist, surging toward Wang Lin. Threads of devilish energy streamed into his body through his 7 apertures, eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. In an instant, everything changed. A terrifying aura erupted from Wang Lin's body, dark and overwhelming. At the same time, he slapped his storage bag. The devil armor shot out. It wrapped around him in an instant, layer by layer, until his entire body was encased in that fearsome black armor, a devil incarnate. His expression twisted briefly with pain, but when his eyes opened again, they were colder, deeper. Black smoke swirled within them. This was why he had come alone. This madness. This gamble. If he wished to kill Liu Mei, who stood under the protection of the Huan ancestor, it was impossible through normal means. Even the Celestial Guard would not suffice. The Huan family had endured for countless years. Their foundations ran deep, their secrets unfathomable. Wang Lin knew this, so he chose another path, a dangerous one. He abandoned the idea of refining the scattered devil, and instead, he awakened it. He offered it freedom. In exchange for its power, the imprint binding the devil was no ordinary seal. It had been forged with the aid of ancient demon Beilu himself. Within it lay an ancient spell, deeply embedded into the very soul of the devil. Even now, the scattered devil could not break it, not in a short time. Under normal circumstances, it could only exert a fraction of its strength while under Wang Lin's control. But now, everything was different. It was fully awakened. Its true power, unleashed, though it loathed Wang Lin, though it would never willingly serve him, the seal bound it. Even if it escaped his origin soul, its root would remain within Wang Lin. So, it made a deal, and within its heart it held its own ambitions. Once I gain my freedom, it thought, its consciousness lurking within Wang Lin's body, I will break this seal within a few hundred years. And when that day comes, I shall roam the heavens unbound. At this moment, the scattered devil fully merged with Wang Lin. Flames of darkness ignited within Wang Lin's eyes as he stepped forward, toward the celestial figure. No spells, no hesitation. He raised his fist, and struck. His body had entered a strange state. His will remained, but control belonged to the devil. All the celestial energy within him had been completely transformed into devilish energy. This punch carried the full might of the scattered devil, empowered by the devil armor. As it surged forward, it transformed into a massive black dragon, roaring toward the celestial figure. The celestial figure responded calmly. His right hand formed a seal, then pointed forward. The surrounding celestial energy condensed instantly, forming a massive vortex. It collided with the black dragon, and in a single breath, both vanished, gone, erased. The celestial figure lowered his hand. Then he spread his arms. Each hand formed a different seal. Across the entire thousand illusion planet, spiritual energy began to gather from every corner, every inch of land. It surged toward him. Through an incomprehensible method, that vast spiritual energy was refined, transformed into celestial energy, dense, overwhelming, so concentrated, it seemed almost solid. Above his palm, it gathered wildly, until the cycle of energy on the entire planet broke. For one fleeting moment, Thousand Illusion Planet was empty, devoid of spiritual energy. All of it had been converted, and in his hand, a milky white sphere pulsed with unimaginable power. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, but within him, the scattered devil sneered. A mere celestial transformation, a trick from a branch of the ancient demon clan. And you dare display it before me? Wang Lin said nothing, but the devilish energy around him surged even stronger. Under the devil's control, his right hand rose, pointing toward the heavens, and in an ancient, forgotten tongue, he spoke, "Ancient devil." His hand twisted into a claw, engulfed in dark flames. The fire surged outward, forming a colossal claw in the sky, dozens of feet in size. Then he reached downward, toward the very earth beneath his feet. Once more he spoke in that ancient language. "Extract the planet's soul." The world trembled. A deep, ancient aura awakened from within the core of Thousand Illusion Planet. Under the grasp of that devil claw, the planet's soul was being pulled out. If you draw upon the planet's spiritual energy, the scattered devil's laughter echoed, then I shall take its very soul. Let us see which is stronger. Devilish flames exploded outward, engulfing everything. Though Wang Lin's body was no longer his to command, his awareness remained, and through this connection, he witnessed everything. The technique, the power, the profound mystery behind the ancient devil's art of extracting a planet's soul. And within that moment, a spark of enlightenment ignited deep within him.